All right. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Great. Thank y'all. Packed house. Look at this. Looking good. Thank you all for being here. Tonight is March 11, 2026 at 6:30. We will call the Town of Port Royal's council meeting to order. At this time, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. If Mayor Pro Tem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Owens, with the invocation, please.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together on this evening. We thank you for your guidance, your wisdom, and unity as we discuss today's agenda. Open our hearts and minds as we listen well, work together in harmony, and make the decisions that we serve. Make our decisions for those that we serve greater in your sight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Got a packed agenda tonight, a lot of exciting things on it. First thing up is approval of the minutes. We've got minutes from the public hearing of February 4th, 2026, minutes from the council workshop of February 4th, 2026, minutes from the public hearing of February 11th, 2026, minutes from the council meeting February 11th, 2026, and minutes from the council retreat of February 2026. And entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections?
No.
Deletion, subtraction? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, there you go. Even the audience, they're in the book. They are part of the record, part of history. All right, up now we've got a couple proclamations. Very first is World Doula Week with Tamika Walker from Energy Evolution, Holistic Health and Wellness. Miss Walker.
That's yours.
Calling Miss Walker.
She's back here filming herself.
Yeah. If you just want to come down,
I'm sorry.
you kind of give us a few words, let us know what we're celebrating here, and then I've got a proclamation. I'll read it. We'll come down and take a picture with you and the whole crew and the family. Okay?
All right. So thank you all for having me. Thank you so much for having us doulas here tonight. The World Doula Week is a world recognition for doulas, and doulas are those who go in the birthing space throughout the perinatal journey, is what we call it, before, during, and after birth. And that is truly to support mothers, fathers, and families with information, education, inspiration to keep on going, right? But we also hold the space to make sure we bridge community with the clinical so that we create continuity of care. So this week is really about us being able to bring forth what is really needed in South Carolina, with South Carolina being the 8th in the nation when it comes to maternal mortality rate. So this is something that we are wanting to make sure we are bringing awareness to so that we can get more doulas into our birthing spaces.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ms. Walker. Known this family for a long time. They do a lot in the community. And thank you for bringing this to our attention. It's one of those things, you don't really know until someone educates you on it. So it is really important. So like I said, what you just talked about, while we might not all be mothers, I bet we all have mothers. So it's very, very important. So I will go ahead and read this, and then we'll come down there and take a picture with you guys, okay? World Doula Week Proclamation. Whereas doulas are trained professionals who provide continuous physical, emotional, educational, and advocacy support to mothers and families before, during, and after childbirth. And whereas research shows that doulas' care improves maternal and infant health outcomes, reduces unnecessary medical intervention, strengthens breastfeeding success, and enhances overall family well-being. And whereas the Town of Port Royal recognizes the importance of supporting families through culturally responsive, community-based care that complements medical services. And whereas doulas play a vital role in advocating for families, supporting informed decision-making, and helping ensure that mothers and families feel supported, informed, and empowered throughout pregnancy, birth, and postpartum recovery. Whereas World Doula Week is observed annually from March 22nd through March 28th to recognize and honor the essential contributions of doulas worldwide. And whereas doulas and maternal health organizations serving the Port Royal community are committed to strengthening families, improving access to care, and supporting healthy beginnings. Now therefore, I, Kevin Phillips, Mayor of the Town of Port Royal, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim March 2022 through the 2026 as World Doula Week in the Town of Port Royal, South Carolina, and encourage all residents, community organizations, healthcare providers, and partners to recognize and support the vital work of doulas in promoting maternal health, infant well-being, and strong families throughout the Town of Port Royal. In the witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Town of Port Royal to be affixed this 11th day of March 2026. All right. Yes. Thank you. We'll come down there, take a picture with you guys. Listen, thank you again to Ms. Walker and everybody over at Energy Evolution. As you can tell, the pollen's getting to me. I got a
I
little
know,
dry
right?
mouth
Only
over here. Need to get some water.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for doing what you do. Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Hey. She's got it. There's this one. You take that, just give it to Lisa when it's done? Thank you. Okay. Like I said, we've got one more proclamation. Pollen's getting to me. I'm gonna drink a little water before that one. This one up next. Beaufort County Disabilities and Special Needs. Did y'all want to come up? How are y'all doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for being here. Again, thanks for, bringing these kind of things to our awareness, and not just us, but the whole community. If you just give us a few words, give us an update, what you guys do, the services you.
This is Lindsay Glover.
Hey, Lindsay.
Hello, Lindsay.
I'm Sonia Simmons.
Yes, ma'am.
I work for DDSN,
What is DDSN?
Disabilities and Special Needs.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're just here to say thank you for the support and the dedication on Disabilities Awareness Month.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, absolutely. Well, again, we got a proclamation here I'm going to read, and then we'll come down there and do the same thing and get a picture with you guys as well, too, okay? Proclamation by the Town of Port Royal, 2026 Disabilities Awareness Month. Whereas more than 500,000 South Carolina residents and families are impacted by severe lifelong disabilities, including autism, head injuries, spinal cord injuries, intellectual disabilities, and related disabilities, without regard to race, culture, geography, age, sex, or economic class. And whereas people with lifelong disabilities are productive citizens, neighbors, and family members deserving of respect and opportunities of economic self-sufficiency, independence, and personal growth. And whereas the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs to the Town of Port Royal and the County Disabilities and Special Needs Boards work with families to provide services that promote independence and inclusion. And whereas we owe a special debt of gratitude to the caregivers who selflessly provide physical, emotional, and spiritual support to our residents with disabilities and special needs. And whereas the 2026 Observance of Disabilities Awareness Month celebrates the successful partnership between people with and without disabilities, as well as the increasing involvement of people with disabilities in education, employment, and community activities. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Phillips, Mayor of the Town of Port Royal, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Disabilities Awareness Month in the Town of Port Royal, and encourage our citizens to work together to promote increased opportunity for people with disabilities, to recognize the many contributions made by people with disabilities to our community, and to honor the dedication of the caregivers who bring support and hope to their fellow citizens. Dated this 11th day, March 2026, Kevin Phillips, Mayor of Port Royal. All right, we'll come down there, do the same thing, get a picture with y'all.
You want to slide to your left, just a hand, yeah, here, perfect. Okay, there we go, ready in 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Keep it up out there. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a great way to start the meeting off. Love bringing awareness to those great organizations. And as you hear, there's people in the community that, provide that care, again, and just, we're here to support them and love on them and do what we can. So we love when we're made aware of those and we're able to honor and celebrate those. So thank y'all. Up next, we got some presentations. First one, starting at the top in no particular order, Fire Department. Come on down. How are y'all doing tonight, guys?
Good, good.
Good.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for taking some time for us tonight. I know you have a busy agenda, but we have a good crowd, a good audience. So
Absolutely.
we wanted to take a moment to share a young man that made a difference for emergency response for us here in Port Royal a few weeks back. It was an incident when we had a lot of weather. If you remember a couple of weeks ago on a weekend, we had some heavy wind and rain. So to kind of put it in perspective, that's the weekend we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to introduce the crew, and then Chief Vazan is going to share the details. But with us tonight, we have Deputy Chief Vazan, who I'm sure you all know. Chief Cooler was the battalion chief on duty that day when we had the incident. Our Fire Marshal, John Badgett, he responded and did the investigation. And the young man, Landon, is a volunteer with the Sheldon Fire District. So we have Chief Glass from the Sheldon Fire District that's going to be with us tonight also. And then PD responded as well, so we have them with us tonight as well. So Chief Vazan is going to come up and share the details, and then we're going to bring Landon up to recognize him.
Great. Thank y'all.
Before we get into details, I got to throw a safety speech in
Yeah, we
here.
got a quiz too.
So, who's ever used a fire extinguisher before? So we see them in all of our offices and all the buildings we go into, but we only have 5 people that have ever used one, right? So I'm going to teach you something to be able to use one in the future if you ever have to. It's an easy acronym called PASS. So think of football, but it's pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So I wanted to throw that out there because, like I said, we all see them, but not many of us have ever used them. We offer fire extinguisher training. If you guys ever want any fire extinguisher training, please contact myself or Chief Badgett, and we'd be more than happy. We have a trailer with a prop, and we can teach you guys or your office, your business, how to use a fire extinguisher. So I'm going to call Landon on up here with me. Like Chief said, I'm sure most of you guys remember it was a very windy day, and we had a power line come down. We had a power line come down right across from the Naval Hospital at Marsh Point Apartments. I'll get into the story here, but what happened was Landon was at the skate park with his buddies. What he described as he thought it was a car accident because of the noise, the arcing of the power line when it came down from the wind. He thought it was a car accident. Well, that power line came down and started the pine straw on fire. Landon immediately ran over to help, and somebody handed him a fire extinguisher. He knew how to use that fire extinguisher and able to put that fire out before our crews even got there. Chief Cooler describes it as he got on there, and the smoke was actually going up through the gutter. There was a gutter system right there, so it looked like the whole roof was on fire. And little did we know, Landon had already put the fire out. So congratulations, Landon.
Yeah.
I've been with the fire service here with the town of Port Royal City for 24 years, and I've had many fires. There's no doubt in my mind that young man did not put that fire out. We had 30, 40 knot gust winds that day that lived in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it would probably burn out that and probably more units. So, great job.
Great job,
All
Landon.
right.
Wow, that's awesome.
This certificate is awarded for Landon's quick, rational thinking and calm demeanor during a structure fire in Port Royal in a multifamily dwelling. While at the Port Royal skate park, you heard what you believed to be a vehicle accident. Upon further observation, you noticed smoke coming from the direction of Marsh Point Apartments after a transformer had blown and ignited a brush fire. Without hesitation, you immediately left the skate park to respond and assist. Upon arriving at the scene, you took swift action by utilizing a fire extinguisher to suppress the flames before they could extend to the apartment building. Your quick thinking, situational awareness, and willingness to step in during an emergency directly prevented the fire from spreading and potentially causing significant property damage and danger to residents. The City of Beaufort, Town of Port Royal Fire Department are fortunate to have young leaders like you. We commend you for your outstanding actions and for setting a powerful example for others. Congratulations.
Oh, Landon. I was about to say, yeah, get the whole crew up here. We can stand up here.
Stay up here.
If he's gonna bring the family. Good job. Mr. Landon.
Chief Myers, come on up to the front as well.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Landon. Hey, hey.
Landon.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. I understand that we have one that hides all the time, but if somebody else will take that picture. No, I'm saying we have one that hides all the time. We have somebody else that does it. Your counterpart.
Everybody here, ready in 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Great job, guys. Thank y'all. Thank you. Thanks, Chief. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. Good to see you, man.
How are you? Good to see you.
All right, all right. Well, that was awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Landon.
Thank you. Great job. That was awesome.
It's good to know we got young men like that out there in the community. So thank you to the fire department, thank you to Landon, and also to, up next, Beaufort Rowing Club. I can't see you.
Port Royal paddle side.
Do you need handouts?
We're good, I think.
I'll take one.
Oh, yeah, well, we could.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take it.
Do it. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Keeping up with everybody else.
Sure. I don't have to strain my eyes as much.
So, Mayor, thank you. Council, thank you. Van, thank you very much for letting us do this. On the next slide, it's really about the vision of what we were talking about from the Beaufort Rowing Club. I'm relatively new to Port Royal. I really moved here in 2021, but a lot of these folk have been, and a lot of the rowers have been here for many years. And I think a lot of them have actually approached the council in the past. Certainly there have been a lot of attempts at getting something done for the rowing club itself. But we would like to look at this vision of trying to establish and maintain a multi-purpose event center that will enable a return on investment, certainly for the taxpayers and for the town of Port Royal. We'd like it to think of it as a training center for local, regional, national, and potential, even international athletes, to develop for athletes and also for development of athletes with disabilities. We think that it's a way to promote a better quality of life through health and wellness by providing opportunities to walk, run, bike, row, fish, swim, kayak, paddleboard, and even more at the center. And we'd like to look at this as an entry point really into aquatic and sports program through community outreach. And certainly something that would be open year-round, with the goal to foster friendship and cooperation between athletes of all levels and abilities, both locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. We want to look at this as from a non-motorized perspective. So triathlon, certainly there's an Olympic distance, there's open water swimming, rowing, certainly coastal sprint regattas will need beach type access. Canoe, kayak, you've got stand-up paddleboard rowing, you've got dragon boat racing, you've got SU stand-up paddleboard yoga. Sailing I'd excluded from this list because really there are so many opportunities for sailors already in the town and around the town. So what we are looking for is an access something right now is access to a low-profile dock. And I know that the town has got approval from the Corps of Engineers to put in the new dock. We're looking to actually pass on a section of our low-profile dock that could be used on that section itself. And from a next step, central facilities that could actually store boats, stand-up paddleboards, and sundry equipment. And as this grows, there will be need for parking, restrooms, showers, etc. The kind of water that you look at from a rowing perspective has to be a longer distance. Longer stretches is an advantage, and something that you can attract crews from other areas who are not so climate challenged, who are more climate challenged than we are in South Carolina. We want to move to the dock. The dock, this is a diagram we shared, and the approved dock has the room. If you look to the section, the 122-foot section, that is what we're looking at in terms of appending on or providing a section or sections of our low-profile dock to fit onto that piece. We have spoken with Nick Morgine at Shellring, who has given his support to the rowing club. Gave the club permission to basically store boats there until such time that the property starts being demolished, and then of course the new construction takes place. I know you're waiting on the approval from the Corps of Engineers for the approval of the dock, but we think that this would be an easy extension to that dock itself. We already have over 80 feet of low-profile dock that can be transported and connected to it. There's an easy dock system. A lot of the folk here were responsible for the acquisition of that dock many years ago, and where they were able to row. We think that Port Royal has the answer to our needs right here. The location is ideal. I believe the zoned area, that Lot G, would be terrific. You've got many miles of water available, well protected from the northeast and southwest winds. Additional benefits include recreational area. It's very mild winters comparative to, say, the northeast or anywhere else. It's certainly one of the fastest growing areas in the U.S. We know that from all the information and all the realtor magazines that pop up that tell you that this is a fast and highly, a very fast growing area. And consistently, this area is rated as one of the best towns to live in the U.S. We think of a multi-purpose facility as something that's open to all non-motorized sports, to all athletes of all levels and abilities, with year-round access and certainly year-round income for the town. It is certainly south of the Blizzard line and comparatively cheap accommodation from Airbnbs, campgrounds, B&Bs, hotels, with close proximity to airports, both Hilton Head and Charleston. We put together a very preliminary model that basically talks to about day-to-day. There is opportunity for leased storage spaces, for boathouses and local clubs, leasing equipment from rental places, certainly lease from gym facilities, lease from meeting rooms, team weddings, team meetings, team building, weddings, etc. And obviously the concessions that come with it. You think about a lot of people coming in, it's a lot of coffees to actually be provided. If you look at it from a perspective of visiting teams, now I've been rowing since I was 14, so that's a long time now. But we used to go away for training, and it's the same with crews in the Northeast and the Midwest. They head south. They head down to Florida. They head sometimes into South Carolina, but most likely it's Florida and sometimes Georgia. And they bring with them their entire club, 60, 70 rows at a time. And they're looking for accommodation, mostly during spring break and others. So they're here for a week. And if it's beds, if it's heads to beds, it's something that you can look at, attracting clubs to come down. There's no question we could see folk coming down and rowing and using this facility. The water is ideal for it. It's a lot of meals, it's a lot of coffee, it's a lot of access to equipment, it's a lot of parking, it's a lot of area information that kicks in. I think if you look at it from an events perspective, I do think you can get to an issue of having multiple events, not only from Dragon Boat, as we know the movement from Beaufort, town of Beaufort to Port Royal, but also from other sport areas. We could see regattas being hosted here. Obviously, that comes with drinks, it comes with people, merchandise, etc. And ultimately, if you look down many years from now, perhaps even international and national team type coverage. The next piece is just really on the supporting slides from a perspective. A lot of you probably haven't seen a rowing shell up close, but they're 60 feet long. An 8 is probably just shy of 60 feet. A 4 is about 40 to 44 feet. A double, about 32 to 36 feet long. A single is less than 27 feet. Dragon boats, 40 feet approximately, 2 to 3 feet wide, 20 paddlers, a drummer and a steerer. It is also one of the fastest growing water sports out there. And there are over 2 million participants currently taking place, involved in the Dragon Boat festivals globally. Boats are made out of wood, they're made out of carbon fiber. Mostly you'll see carbon fiber these days. If you go to the next slide, Nathan Benderson Park was established in Florida about 20 years ago as a dream to build a world-class center. And they hosted a World Rowing Championship in 2017 and followed by national championships, World Masters, etc. It was controlled access, it was not open to all clubs and only used really for kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding and rowing. It was a for-profit operation. The links are active if you choose to go and look at them. The annual expected revenue that this facility generates is in excess of $150 million a year. But it is an inclusive environment, and a lot of clubs head down. They pay rent when they go down to use the facilities. And most of the expense was incurred in the dredging and construction of the canals. And we don't even have to worry about something like that. From a regatta perspective, I'm active in this Head of the Hooch. I've been involved in it for over 30 years, volunteering. Right now it's in Chattanooga. The course is 4,500 meters long, over 7,000 competitors over 2 days with 2,200 crews racing, 20,000 spectators, and the impact to Chattanooga is in excess of $12 million that is generated. The regatta costs about $350 to run. As another one, I think, which is more feasible for us to look at is a beach sprint. The FISA is the federation that runs the World Rowing. And they had a World Coastal Beach Sprint in Turkey just this last November. 342 athletes, all their spouses, all their support people, 55 countries, officials, umpires, timekeepers, support staff, add another 500 people to this, 10 different boat classes, roughly 10,000 hotel nights. We have a beach. You can do the same thing here. Sands Beach is not perfect, but with small changes, something that could easily accommodate a coastal regatta. It will be an event that will take place in the 2028 Olympics. We do think there's also opportunity for a recreational rowing league, something that the town can get involved with, and the various businesses that are here. Businesses sponsored Learn to Row programs could happen with dragon boat racing, can happen with any kind of sport, as long as that you've got folk that are interested in sponsoring kind of classes and having this kind of row league that occurs. St. Catherine's Rowing Club, another club I belong to, has a summer program that attracts adults mostly to learn how to row. And they seem to get 80 to 100 people that participate in this rowing league for an 8-week period, and they race against each other with a huge party afterwards. It generates significant revenue for the club as well as the town. We have 3/8s that are rowable. Okay? 3/8s. And we have something that you could start off doing this quite easily. The club raises money, participants spend. The last part of this thing is just our approach we'd like to look at from a perspective that this is the town, not an expression of interest, not a commitment at this stage, but certainly we can talk to all local and regional clubs to gain their interest. You can see already from the Dragon Boat folk that are here, the rowing club folk that are here. If the town wishes to pursue further, ideally get a project team that consists of the relevant South Carolina bodies, the Beaufort bodies, schools, clubs, veterans. We think that there's an opportunity certainly for the Marines to facilitate what they're doing as well. And also look at those organizations. We just had a proclamation for folk with disabilities. Rowing is a big sport, same with other applications for those that have some form of disability, something that is very attractive. We'd like to look at defining this project completely, come out with an estimate, define the permitting and any approval process that's required, and then look at any fundraising strategies that are necessary, and then move on to getting it approved. But I think our first take is getting onto that dock. Any questions?
Thank you. Well,
Well, we have something for you.
perfect.
I think
If we
so.
could, can we pull the picture back up? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll wear it for the rest of this. I have a couple questions, if that's all right. Yes, sir. So, yes, I mean, we've chatted about this many times. So if we can go back to the picture, when you say there's an 80-foot of a low-profile dock that can be readily attached to the 120-20 recreational floating dock, what is that? What
We
is
have
what is
a
low-profile dock?
a low-profile dock. Basically, is something that's about 4 to 5 inches off the water. Rowing shells sit about 6 to 8 inches off the bottom of the water itself. So you can't have a dock that you see at Sands Beach, because we can't actually, from a rowing boat perspective, get into the equipment. So you have to have something that's a low profile, that the shells can actually easily launch from and get recovered from.
Where would it, when you say attached, like where does?
So the orange section right now is 122
Yes, sir.
foot.
Mhm.
We would plug it on.
So it
either.
just comes right out that
Right
other
off
side?
that.
Okay. Is there any concerns, like I said, I'm just curious with it, with boat safety and boats going in there, is that fine? I mean, is
Ken?
that, I mean, I'm asking if you have any, I mean,
No,
What we've typically done in the past is
Come forward. So
yeah, so we can hear you, sir.
And the public can see.
what we've done in the past is we've attached our low-profile float to the inboard side of an existing
Okay,
dock floating ramp. Your inboard ones are about 16 to 18 inches tall, and we mount ours parallel to that on the inboard side, so we're not into the immediate boat traffic.
Okay.
And usually inaccessible to powered equipment.
okay,
So it makes it safe for us and safe for the boaters.
yeah, exactly. And if this was attached, would it be, do y'all foresee it being used just like specific times, or would this just kind of be open? If you want to come row, that's where you just go row
Well,
at?
it would be open. We row at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're off the water by 8:30.
But it would be open to the public, it'd be a great spot if you row?
It would have to
Okay.
be. I mean,
Okay.
We're looking for, we want to encourage the dragon boat people to come out, kayakers during the midday,
Okay.
whenever.
And you said, as of right now, you've spoken with Nick about storing
yes,
boats. So your boats would be up on Shell Ring,
yes.
you go grab them from there, bring them down, put them in,
You got it.
row, and then
You are
bring them
saying
out
it.
and go put them back? Okay, yeah.
Correct.
Like I said, I'm just trying to understand it. I'm not an expert, y'all are, so I just
Yep.
want to know. Yeah, it sounds really exciting.
I get called an expert.
Thank you.
So, okay, and so, because I'm kind of hearing, we've kind of got two asks, right?
Yes.
Like, we can start with this pretty much as soon as that dock's built.
Correct.
Then the next thing that we're talking about is this multi-purpose facility.
Correct. So the idea would be when the town gets the approval to build the processing unit, that it's built with an aspect that it can also
Okay.
be used as a multi-purpose environment.
Do you have, and I know this is very preliminary, just any idea of how much space you would need?
Well, an 8 is 60 feet long.
Okay, yeah.
So you need probably 70 feet in length to
Okay.
accommodate. There are 3/8, so typically they're stacked onto
Okay.
racks, stored on one side. There are also 3/4s, and the oars and equipment that go with it. You've also got the dragon boats. Dragon boats are 40 feet approximately in length,
Okay.
about the length of a 4. It would be great if they could be stored in the same facility. You've also, think about stand-up paddleboards. I mean, those are easy to stack and store.
Are those all stored, is this all stored inside the facility?
Preferably inside.
Preferably inside, okay.
Preferably inside.
Okay. All right.
And then, the coach boats, if there are, we don't have a coach boat, but
Okay.
there are coach boats that could be easily accessed. Don't know how often things go walking, but you certainly want to make certain that motors and stuff are locked up.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, like you said, I mean, that first step is, it sounds like that's kind of easy.
Yes,
So,
relatively.
yeah, it sounds like that's pretty relatively easy. And kind of gets everybody, just gets the foot in the door. Also, you can gauge interest in all of
Yes.
that. And so you already got, show ring locked in. So my only request is if anyone knows anyone at the Corps of Engineers and they want to call them and tell them to take Port Royal's application and put it at the top, we would love that. So, because, or, use your own language, but but yeah, so that's where we're at with that. We have, we've got funds set aside. As you can see, that is the plan. It's been put in. It's sitting, and we've heard from the Corps of Engineers that public notice has been posted. We're literally just waiting on that approval. So
Okay.
as soon as we get that news, we're excited to kind of get started on building that back. But we were told when we filed our permit that it will be handled in the order that it was received. So we don't know if that's how many are in front of us. So, but we're waiting, fingers crossed with that we get that as soon as possible. So that's great. Thank you all for coming here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And also, thank you to Dragon Boat. We'll see you this year. Yeah, thank you. We're excited about that. Exactly.
2014.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great. So, well,
Well,
thank you.
thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay. Up next, we've got that. You're going to be able to top the fire department and the row club.
Can I get a picture at the end?
Yes.
You've got good news.
Lisa, you can have whatever
Thank
you
y'all
want,
for being here, yes.
lady.
And now we've got I know you got hard, and now we've got to get into the finances. Very important. Not as exciting as putting out fires and dragon boat races, but just as important.
I've already broken in.
And so, yes, up next, we have another presentation. This is our yearly audit
Okay.
with Mrs. Lisa Weschler. So, thank you so much for being here.
Okay, all right. So we have it on the overhead projectors if anybody wants to follow along. But my name is Lisa Wexler with Crowley Wexler and Associates. And the annual financial report that I'm presenting to you today is for your fiscal year end June 30th, 2025. And you can see on your table of contents that the report is broken up into two sections. You have a financial section, which includes our auditor's report and all of the financial statements, as well as management's discussion and analysis. And then down below, there's a second section that is the compliance section, which relates to governmental entities. So on our auditor's report, I think it's on page 1, there we go, states that we have taken the information that management has provided to us and we have applied audit procedures to that information. And I'm happy to say that we've issued an unmodified opinion, which is commonly referred to as a clean opinion on the financial statements. On page 11, oh, you can get an adverse opinion.
Okay.
Yes, you can get a modified opinion. You can, nasty things. You don't
Get unsolicited opinion.
Yeah, unsolicited. So,
Thank you.
I was once at a seminar, just to tell you this, and the CPA said, well, at my council meeting the other night, I told the councilman I had given them an unqualified opinion. And they said, sir, we pay you too much money. We want a qualified opinion. But you really don't want that. Okay.
Thank you.
But anyway, on page 11, this is the statement of net position. So this is the balance sheet of your government-wide financial statements. And what this statement does is it takes all of the funds of the town, consolidates it into a balance sheet and a statement of activities on the full accrual basis, with the difference between your long-term assets, long-term liabilities being reported as your net position. And your statement of activities actually breaks out your revenues and expenses by program, with the difference shown as general revenues. The government-wide financial statements are a useful tool for planning and meeting future requirements of the town. And because the future has not happened yet, there's a lot of estimates included in this financial statements. Estimates for depreciation, for your net pension liability accruals, and compensated absences. And the most significant long-term assets and liabilities are your capital assets and your long-term debt. At the end of this year, in your capital assets, your net of depreciation, your value of your capital assets net of depreciation was $11,502,713. And this number includes your land, it includes construction in progress, it includes buildings, furniture and equipment, and vehicles. During the year, you added $3,418,000 to your capital assets. That sounds like a big number. Most of that was due to the fact that the coronavirus, the ARPA funds, you were required to utilize that money. Some of the additions to your capital assets included Cypress Wetlands, building on 9th Street was purchased. There was some park equipment, town hall, and the police department underwent renovations. There were some leased vehicles acquired, streets and sanitation, vehicles and equipment for that department, sidewalk renovations, and the biggest expense was the causeway at the Sands Beach. And depreciation on those, all of your capital assets was $1,039,000 during the year. In your long-term obligations, reported there is non-current liabilities. The total there at June 30th was $8,093,000. So included in your long-term obligations is bonds payable, leases, subscription liabilities, your net pension liability, and compensated absences accrual. So during June 30th fiscal year end, the GASB issued a new statement on how to calculate compensated absences. So prior to the issuance of this statement, compensated absences were considered a leave that was unused, vacation leave unused at June 30th, accrued but not used by employees, that would vest with the employees, so when they leave the employment of the town, you are obligated to pay that out. So as of this new statement, GASB statement number 101 for compensated absences, the town now has to recognize an estimated amount of sick leave earned but not taken. Because the theory is that at some point in the future, you may have to pay out sick leave for an employee when that time was earned in a prior year. So we want to match the expense to the year in which it's earned. On page 15, you get to your fund financial statements. These are the governmental funds prior to the government-wide financial statements reporting requirements. So these financial statements measure current resources on the modified accrual basis and current obligations. So there's no long-term assets and no long-term liabilities. You have two major funds reported here, your general fund and your capital projects fund, with the remaining non-major funds presented as other governmental funds. So the general fund reports all of the operations and activities of the town. In revenues of $10,368,000, your tax revenue of $5,278,000, and your fines, fees, and licenses of $4,103,000 represent 90% of the revenues that the town received. Included in fine, fees, and licenses is your franchise fees, your business license fees, I think there's some court funds in there, and that number, we'll see later on, is up from the prior year. In your expenses here, you have total expenses of $10,024,000, and that's broken down by the various departments. Current would be operating cost, and then the debt service is your principal and interest that's paid on your outstanding debt, and the capital outlay is the cost of the capital assets that were added during the year.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
That, the 5 million in taxes, 4 million, I'm just rounding, the fines and fees, is that pretty, that breakdown, is that pretty common across municipalities? Is that good? Is that where you want to be? Is that?
Yes, that's
Okay.
pretty common.
That's pretty
Right.
common, that breakdown is kind of, okay.
Yes, right. That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. So in your general fund operating activities, your fund balance went up $828,000, bringing your total fund balance to $5,832,000 at the end of June. Of that amount, I think it's roughly about $224,000 that's restricted for impact fees, fire impact fees that's collected. The Capital Projects Fund reported $5,232,000 in revenues and expenses. So basically, that fund just washed out because you received grants in and you spent the money as the grant indicated. And then in your other governmental funds, which includes your stormwater, local hospitality, local accommodations, state accommodations, housing rehab fund, TIF fund, the total there at the end of the year in the fund balance was $2,410,000. So overall, your change in your fund balances was $1,533,000 increase, and at the end of the year, $8,845,000 across all your funds. So if, on page 39 is your budget compliance. Your total budget that was approved was $10,179,000. Your millage during the June 30th, 2025 fiscal year was the same as the previous year. It was 74 mills. And this is in the notes to your financial statements, but your assessed valuation at June 30th was $71,579,000. That's assessed value. And that's up 1.2% from the previous year. And so I think it's always kind of interesting to look at how that compares, but over a 5-year average, your assessed valuation was up about 14.5%, and over a 10-year average, it was just under 11% in overall increases. So on your budget, revenues budgeted were $9,399,000. You actually collected $10,368,000, so that was an increase of $969,000 above the budget. Most of that was in the fines, fees, and licenses. And that amount, I think off the top of my head, was about $2.8 million, I think, in business license, and that includes business license and the municipal association fees. And then also there was a settlement of $150,000 with the Airbnb that's included in that during the year. The rest of that was franchise fees. So your franchise fees are running about $1 million when you add them all together, I think. And then the business license was $2.8 million. And then in your expenditure budget, $154,000 under budget. And when we looked at that, there was a lot of ARPA funds, things like that going on during the year. But I think that really what it boiled down to was you had towards the end of the year, some staffing shortages. So in the police department and streets.
So we collected more than we budgeted for, and we spent less than we budgeted for.
That's correct,
All right.
yes. And that accounts for the increase of the $828,000. Okay, and then next year's budget, just as a comparison, your millage, you've dropped it 2 mills. It's down to 72 mills. And you have an approved budget of $11,161,000 for 2026 fiscal year. So this information here is just some pension information, some required supplemental information, but the last 2 reports in there from us are your compliance reports. Starting on page 46, the compliance section. This is what's referred to as your schedule of expenditures of federal awards. And the town spent during this fiscal year $4,500,000 is the total there. $4,517,000 in federal grants. Most of that is in the coronavirus, the $4.4 million, which we call the ARPA funds.
Yeah. So I think, like, while it was good to get that, I don't think anybody wants to
Have that.
do that again.
Yeah, right.
So,
Exactly. So, and that is the majority of the funds. When you see the capital projects fund, that's the majority of that money that's in there, the $4.5 million. Okay, so the first report in here is just our report based on our test of internal controls, where we provide negative assurance that you're in compliance with your laws, regulations. And the second report is related to our testing of federal awards under uniform guidance, where we do issue an opinion on compliance requirements that that have a direct material effect that we tested as part of your major program. In this case, your major program, of course, was the coronavirus funding. We did not have any findings that we reported in the schedule of findings and question costs related to federal awards, so.
I just want to ask, so when we talk about like the coronavirus money, and we got that, and that shows that huge increase for just those capital projects, that in no way impacted our collections, our, you know, what we, like you said, when we talked earlier about how the town collected more than we budgeted for and spent less, it has nothing to do with that.
No.
Because I think that's a really good thing when you collect more than you budget for and spend less than you budget for. But that wasn't because of coronavirus. That's a totally
No.
separate thing. Okay.
Completely separate.
Mhm.
So the budget, where we were discussing the collections, you know, higher than budget, only included the general fund.
Mhm.
The funding for the coronavirus was not included in the general fund. It was in the capital projects fund.
Gotcha. No, great.
And that's not presented because you don't have a legally adopted budget for the capital projects fund.
Gotcha. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't, we didn't have a great year because of the coronavirus money. That was just
No.
a little extra.
Right, that was extra to get some of the work
To
done.
get some, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, capital work
Mhm.
done. So, you know, because of the late issuance, OMB came out really late on this compliance supplement this year. Normally that guidance is issued in May, and it did not come out until the day before Thanksgiving, okay? That contributed to some of the lateness in getting here tonight. Along with, there were some technical difficulties once we started digging into the new accounting software update. Just some, not that there was anything wrong with it, but it's just learning how to use the new software, you know, and setting something up differently than it was previously, even though it was the same company involved. So that we just wanted to make sure that everything was in aligned with the reporting that we anticipated. So, and we found the In conclusion, we found the accounting policies and the financial statement disclosures to be appropriate under the circumstances, and we didn't have any unusual or significant transactions that we felt like we needed to report on as part of a separate report. And I think overall that the town ended the year in a strong financial position, maintaining positive fund balances, even with a $5 million pension liability that you have to accrue on your government-wide financial statements, and you stayed within your budgetary constraints and ended up with a positive increase to the fund balances.
You asked no question. You knew what was
Okay.
coming, right?
Yeah, I had it.
Strong
Overall.
financial position, that's good to hear.
I was gonna, who's gonna ask?
And stay within our budget, that's kudos to staff for keeping us within budget, keeping us on point. Thank you.
Yep. And Vernon Deloach would be so proud.
Yep.
Yes,
Hey, you got to mention him.
That's right.
that's right.
He was a line item.
Mm-hmm.
Did everything line item.
And,
Thank you.
any
So-
questions?
I know, I believe the reports were sent out to you in your council packet, so did you have any questions about what you reviewed, or, okay.
No, my only question I can ask just, is there anything, because again, you're the expert in this, anything we should be not concerned about, but anything in the future, any kind of, when you review our financials, is there any, issues that we should keep an eye on? Any storms on the horizon or anything? Are we kind of doing, just like you said, doing well? Doing
Yes.
good?
Doing
Okay.
well.
I mean, if that's the
doing
answer,
very
that's the
well.
answer.
Next year, there's going to be some new reporting, management and discussion analysis will look a little different than what you're used to seeing. But I don't think it'll be anything, out of the ordinary or any big surprises. But just keep up the good work.
Great, yeah, I mean, that's
Stay
it.
fiscally accountable and, right?
Great team.
Absolutely. Okay. Anything else for Donovan? Thank you.
No, sir.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, thank you.
And thank you to staff.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, we have another presentation coming up right here. Last but not least, the Beaufort Jasper Economic Opportunity Commission, Mr. James William, Executive Director.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor, council, thank you for the time to come and present. I had a huge presentation, about 15 to 16 pages long, but I left that outside in the car. I'm glad, that I had an opportunity to come early today. I got to see a real hometown hero. I'm going to participate in the 2028 Olympics in rowing, but I didn't bring a hat. And so I picked up a keynote of always bring a hat or some kind of trinket to give counsel when you present. So I have to keep that in my bag. But yes, I'm James Williams, Executive Director of Beaufort Jasper Economic Opportunity Commission. And I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of reintroduce our organization to the council and the town of Port Royal. Interesting enough, in our bylaws, the town of Port Royal is the only municipality mentioned by name as having representation in our organization. So I tried to do the research to find out exactly why they mentioned the town of Port Royal by name. Maybe it's just the unique greatness of the town. Port Royal has an interesting place in my heart. Every time I go over the bridge and I see the beautiful layout of the sands, it looks a whole lot different to a starry-eyed, frightened 18-year-old when you go into Paris Island for the first time. It looks a whole lot different, once you grow up and can really enjoy the beauty of it, instead of, one tear in your eye wanting to go home at 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, Port Royal is definitely a special place. But Beaufort Jasper Economic Opportunity Commission is part of a 14 agency network across the state of South Carolina and a 980 organization across the country that was birthed out of some work by President Kennedy back in the 60s and actually put into law by Lyndon B. Johnson during his 1964 war on poverty. And basically, our organization is designed to take those individuals who are the most vulnerable in our community and try to build them to move towards self-sufficiency through a variety of means and necessary programs. Obviously, we have the pleasure of overseeing all the Head Start programs in both Beaufort and Jasper County. We have obviously our facility here in Port Royal. We have 9 facilities throughout the county, and we have more than 500 young birth to 5 and 8 prenatal mothers that we oversee to help not only develop them to prepare for turning into the public school, but also to give them the wraparounds, comprehensive services so that those households that are most vulnerable have everything they need to compete and develop in our society. Port Royal's economic layout makes it very unique in our service delivery because your household medium income is just slightly above that which is the families we serve, which makes it very unique because when we get clients from the town of Port Royal, they're normally right on that cusp of being of qualifying for our services. But once we vet them and find out that they're in dire need, normally we have to kind of cross-populate services to try to be able to serve them. And that will tie into a very humble ask that I may have at the end of the presentation, but the unique nature of the citizens and makeup of Port Royal is very important. When I got ready to come tonight, we were assigned into a charter by a gentleman who was the director of the agency in Charleston, a gentleman by the name of James Clyburn, who went on to do other things politically, but in 1966, oddly enough, March 11th, 1966, so I get to present to you on our actual 60th anniversary of our agency, which took place today. So that was very unique that I had the opportunity to be here at this particular time. We are, right now, we are one of the medium-sized employers in the county. We employ roughly 150 employees. The vast range from obviously our early education teachers to social workers. One of the services that we provide for every family that is enrolled in our program is a social worker that goes out and evaluates their home. If that family shows any needs of development that we can address, whether through job training, educational processes, or just connecting them with some other services throughout the county, we try to provide that for them. Here in the town of Port Royal, we have our biggest program that affects the town of Port Royal is our health and nutrition program for our seniors. We do a food nutrition program in our health department where we actually take seniors out shopping, depending on the size of their household, between $200 and $400 of groceries. And we have our program specialists. They come out, they take those seniors. We have a memorandum of understanding with Piggly Wiggly and Food Line. Here in Port Royal, they love Piggly Wiggly. That's always a wonderful time to watch them go shopping. It's always good to get into discussion how they try to tell us that beer is a necessity. But it's always a good time, to do that. One other thing that we do here in the beautiful park over there in front of the Naval Hospital, we have our vouchers for our farmers market. Every year, we normally give out more than 1,000 vouchers for fresh fruits and vegetables to be used right here locally with our farmers. And that is one of the most popular. If you ever want to see interesting, the day that we start handing those vouchers out, there's normally a line around the building. And so what we do one day there at our office, and then normally we come out to different locations. And the Saturdays that we be able to come over and do them at the park is always interesting. But we have a variety of services. Our emergency services, which we do everything from rental assistance to mortgage assistance, utility assistance. Here in Port Royal, in 2024, we service over 375 documented residents of Port Royal in a neighborhood of $118,000 in utility assistance just to the town of Port Royal. And we always know that there's that's a rough estimate, but we served more than 85 seniors with over $12,000 in food, services, and nutrition. And we gave out, here just locally in Port Royal, 700 vouchers. Now, we don't know if all of them stayed in the town of Port Royal because we gave them out at the farmer's market, so they probably from a little bit all over the county. But we also do a variety of, we work with our sister agency out of Charleston to do weatherization to homes. When we find out that a home has a excessive utility bill, we do go out and see why it is above the local average. And normally that's because that home is not properly weatherized. It has that wonderful 1-inch gap under the front door, or the window sills are off. So we do have teams that come out and try to get that home into compliance so that it will actually bring that electric bill down. We do not only medical emergencies, transportation. In our community service block grant, it allows us to, partner with other nonprofits and municipalities in the area to serve those individuals who are most vulnerable. And the definition by our program is that they are within 200% of the federal poverty guideline. So, for a family of 4, that's a household income somewhere in the neighborhood about $64,000 for a household income for a family of 4. But when we get those in, everyone is income verified. We get a count of everyone who is in the household. Anyone over 18, we get their information, and so we do that once a year. So any family that is served, they only have to do their income verification once annually, and then after that, if they need another service, we just go and do a re-verification, but we don't have to go back and verify the income until the year anniversary of the last time they were served. But that's who we are. That's some of the things we do. We do a variety of different other things. We normally try to have some outreach programs where we just go out and give information in the community that we are there and available. And I did want the council to know that, obviously when you have constituents that may come to you with a concern or a problem, that we are there, we're here in the community to help and serve if anything we can. Any questions?
Any questions from council?
Mr. Williams, you mentioned that most of the cases you guys serve here in Port Royal are at or above the eligibility type. What steps can we take to bridge that gap?
So that is the perfect question. I'm so glad you asked that. What we would love to do is that when a family comes in, or an individual that's right at that threshold, if they are 1 penny over that guideline, over that federal guideline, we are unable to serve them. But if we had a fund that is provided by the municipality that we could pull from and allow us to get that household out of crisis, then we could do a better job to serve them. So what we would love is that for the town to be able to provide us with a financial assistance just for the citizens of Port Royal. So, obviously, we get together, and I could give you a documented presentation with a dollar amount attached to it, but that was what we would normally ask in those situations, so that we can help those individuals that we've already vetted that have a bona fide crisis, but are just slightly outside that threshold of our federal guidelines.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Appreciate it. I'd be interested in seeing that.
Okay. I'll be interested in providing.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Any other questions?
No, any questions?
No, thank you.
No, so just say thank you for being here. I serve on the board with Mr. Williams. It's a great organization. It's a pleasure to do that. Some people kind of forget, I just read a headline the other day, and it said that Charleston County and Beaufort County have the highest median incomes in the state of South Carolina, and that makes it sound like, wow, man, everybody in Beaufort's just doing so great. But that is not the full story. That is not the whole story at all. And anyone that, a lot of that is contributed to our retirement population that we have here. But at times, if you go out and you see those working families, those families of four, those families, that there is a lot of need in the community if you travel around. And so, again, like I said, I saw that headline. It came out just the other day. I was reading like a week ago, and I went, man, that's a little misleading.
It is, Mr. Mayor. And we face that all the time, and we do a annual needs assessment every year for the areas that we serve. We do a separate one for Beaufort County, and we do one for Jasper, and then we break that down by zip code. And what we find is that because of south of the Broad and Hilton Head and Sun City, and then same thing with talking to our agency in Charleston, because of Kiowa and some of the areas like that, it throws the numbers, it skews the numbers where everyone thinks that everyone down here is wealthy. But even in the town of Port Royal, where you talk about it's 8.6, you're slightly above the state average of households that live in poverty, but you are above the state average of those households that live in that 200% range of poverty. So you're probably somewhere about 22 to 23% of those households that are right there at that threshold. So then that's why your assistance will be very helpful in that process. Okay. Thank you.
All right, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being here, and thank you for the work you do.
Congratulations on 60 years, you said?
60 years.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome. Next time I'll bring a hat.
There you go. So, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
And,
take a Snicker bar, too.
Don't be
Maybe we
looking at my
could
Snickers.
we could put out some post about the EOC and kind of some of the services they do, and kind of throw that out there. Because again, really, we just wanted you to come out and just kind of introduce. That's the thing, when you start looking around, there's a lot of groups around here that do provide that help, and sometimes people just need to know. They just need to know where to go. And so the best thing we can do is talk about it, and so we can all kind of know about it.
And last but not least, in honor of our 60th anniversary, August the 15th, we will be having a celebration event. And Mayor and Council, you are all invited.
Yes, sir.
All right?
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Williams.
you. Thank you. Okay. Well, that is it for presentations. Up next, we've got council briefing. Yes, sir.
I know you guys have heard a lot this evening, so I'll keep this brief. Just want to touch on the incubator a little bit. We did get the 9 applications, so we have, because of the length of the leases, we're going to be able to account for or provide space opportunities for those 9 applicants. So I've suggested kind of a blind drawing, maybe do something with Sean, make it exciting.
Yeah.
To figure out when those folks can occupy that space. So.
Great.
The other issue we're still trying to resolve is the insurance issue. So we should have that hopefully cleared up a little bit tomorrow. We're supposed to get another proposal, so I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, that could make it fun. We'll make a little event of it, do it right in front of the building. Little live drawing of get all their names in there, and the first 4, or we could just do it in order, and they get to kind of think and pick their spots, go from there. So,
Obviously, y'all probably seen all the work that's going on in the villages with drainage, Paris Avenue streetscape.
What?
And then, yeah, exactly. And then the third one, obviously, the splash pad work. We've given the notice to proceed, and that parking lot's being wrapped up, and we're starting our work to.
you can see they've started to put some silt fence out, and they're starting to lay the preliminary work on that.
I'll answer any questions if you have anything, otherwise we can move on.
I think Brooke covered it good last week.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes, sir.
The streetscape that's taking place, are they going to be doing night work?
No.
I asked that because I saw them putting some signage
And
and
it
some.
shouldn't be weekend work either.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much for the council briefing. Any other questions or comments from staff?
I just want to say thank to the mayor for getting on Facebook and really putting it out, because, I mean, it helps.
Yeah.
Because the more you can communicate with the community that we serve, the better it's going to be for the people. And I think that's a great job, what you're doing, and I think you need to be noted for that.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. I mean, I know we all do a great job of just communicating, because it's crazy how quickly rumors spread and bad information
Bad
spreads.
information.
What's the Mark Twain quote? A rumor can make its way around the world before the truth can even put its pants on in the morning. You know, that's pretty true. So the more we can put good information out there, the more we can put the truth out there. It can kind of just keep some of that down and at bay. And I think people, you know, and they want to know what's going on, and they have a right to know what's going on. So it's important. So thank you.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we do have public comment for agenda items. Just a reminder, if anybody wants to make a public comment, we do have cards to fill out right when you walk in out there. We do agenda item comments before the agenda, and then non-agenda items, comments after the agenda. So this first one, I believe, is an agenda item from Mr. Dick Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This has been a very informative evening. I did not bring any hats or anything else
Swag.
either. But I do agree that the videos are very informative and helpful, and you were well represented at the chamber session the other morning, as some of you know who were there, by the mayor on the panel with the mayor of Beaufort and Alice Howard of the county council.
That was fun.
We've talked about this before. Just thank you for considering this annexation and rezoning of this property. This will make a great birding center and will help tell people about the importance of birds in our community. And we've enjoyed working with your staff, although I think Noah may be under the weather again, because the last time I saw him, he said, "Don't get close to me. I've got some bug going on." So thank you for considering this, and we look forward to being a part of Port Royal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so that's agenda public comments. Now we're going to second readings. Up first, we've got 2026-4, an ordinance annexing to the town of Port Royal approximately 8.42 acres of real estate located in Beaufort County, described as Beaufort County Tax District 600, Map 6, Parcel 31, located at 58 Mud Bar Road. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Anything?
Excited.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, thank you. Up next is 2026-5. It's been a long day. An ordinance to zone approximately 8.42 acres of real estate located in Beaufort County, described as Beaufort County Tax District 600, Map 6, Parcel 31, in Beaufort County, South Carolina, to be zoned as T3 neighborhood. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or suggestions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay.
Looking forward.
Yep. Thank you all very much. Absolutely. Very exciting, very
Welcome to Port
exciting.
Royal.
Another, I believe, little jewel in the hat. You know, a little jewel in the
Bye,
Port
Shannon.
Royal. Shannon.
Nice to be here.
Good to see you. Thanks for the hats.
Thanks for the hat.
Okay. Up next, we have a resolution. And someone just left.
Yeah, no, I was getting it up there for you.
Yeah, so this is the resolution. Yes, sir, go ahead.
No, this is, from what we understand, the Transportation Advisory Committee that's considering projects to be included in the referendum was looking for a list of projects endorsed by each of the municipal councils and the county council that could be included in all of the projects that will be considered and potentially added to the long list of projects throughout the county. And based upon the discussions, we had the presentation I made to the group. What you see listed here are the projects that we are going to include in the resolution and our request for consideration. First is Gateway to Port Royal intersection and safety improvements. Obviously, this is part of a larger scope of Rebo road work, and it also includes the tool study, which we conducted several years ago. So we're talking about medians and access management at Lenora Drive and Drayton Drive, the intersection of Edinburgh Avenue and Rebo Road. Obviously, we'll probably be looking at signalization with mast arms. Pinckney Boulevard and Rebo Road. That kind of dovetails with what you see at D, which is the closure of Old Shell Road merge lane. We all knew that once the sidewalk constructed, there was going to be an abandonment eventually of that remaining right-of-way, which would be turned over to the town. That would be swallowed into the Naval Heritage Park and allow us to create some additional parking opportunities. And also, that's basically an interstate off-ramp in the town. So we would be looking at improvements to the intersection of Pinckney Boulevard and Rebo Road. Mid-block crossing between Richmond Avenue and Pinckney Boulevard. Obviously, we see a lot of pedestrians hustling through there. With signalization, we'd have an opportunity to address that as well. Improvements that are in the scope of the work of the Rebo Road and tool study also having to do with Paris Avenue and Rebo Road. We know the offset of that intersection is a little curious. We see people run the signal there all the time. There's probably some things that can be done there to improve the safety of that intersection. 2 safety action plan projects, Savannah Highway and Paris Island Gateway intersection improvements. We saw an initial scope of work proposed by the DOT that involves some unusual movements and U-turns. I know LATS has not had an opportunity to review that, but improvements to this particular intersection are high up on their list, so we've included that. Savannah Highway and Robert Smalls Parkway. That is an accident hotspot for us, right, coming off the Broad River Bridge at the intersection of 170 and Savannah Highway. Shadow Moss Drive, we need to do. I was surprised when the neighborhood was added that there was not a turn lane into that neighborhood. Considering the size of the neighborhood and the volume of traffic, we're asking for that to be included. We all know Grover Hill and Paris Island Gateway. There's going to be some necessary improvements there with the number of homes that are being constructed in the area, particularly when you consider the volume of traffic that you see at Savannah Highway and Paris Island Gateway. That connection between the gateway through Grover Hill over to Savannah Highway is going to become more important. I think you're going to see a tremendous, more of an uptick in volume through there. Midtown Drive improvements, initially there was a left-hand turn signal included. We're asking for that to be readdressed because of the construction of the apartment complexes. So we see a lot of traffic there.
Coming from the apartment, turning left onto.
From off of Paris Island Gateway into the apartment complex.
I got you.
Yeah. Ladies Island Drive and Rebo Road, we all know that one.
It's the most important intersection in northern Beaver County.
That's right. We're going to put that on a T-shirt. And then we are endorsing the installation of an intelligent traffic system, not just in the town, but also all over Beaufort County. And then Spanish Moss Trail crossing improvements, Hawk Signal. It's teed up right now for the hot signal. If you notice, it's hung on a wire. We'd like to see that eventual installation like the other Hawk installs in northern Beaufort County, which would include the mast arm and any sort of advanced flashing that could help with traffic coming off the Russell Ball Bridge. So those are the projects that we have included in the resolution that will be forwarded to the Transportation Advisory Committee for consideration.
That looks good. They're not in no particular order.
No.
That looks really good, very thorough. Some important things on there.
Yeah.
No, and I thought we come at this project, this whole process really well in the sense that it's a countywide initiative. And I think the projects that we've presented and put on here really will make the most impact to the most people. All of these roads are very highly traveled. Some of them are very dangerous. So again, I think we've done a really good job, and staff's done a good job, and our representative on the committee's done a good job of trying to get projects on this, because again, this still has to be voted on by all of Beaufort County residents. And so to get projects on there that will benefit, like I said, the most people, and the most, provide the most safety to our roadways. So we'll see, hopefully, we'll see what happens. Any questions or comments from Van? We also thought this was a good idea to kind of put it in writing, put it in resolution. So now when they're, having their meetings, what does Port Royal think? We can go, it's right here. It's right here. And it's not changing, it's not fluid, it's not a moving target. You can just consult the list.
And most of those things have already been included in both the tool study and the other study conducted on Rebo Road. And as mentioned by county staff, they have on-call engineers that will help refine the cost estimates and scope for the projects as they are finalized and put on the list.
Okay. All right, well, any questions for anything for staff? All right, with all that, I'll entertain a motion that we approve Resolution 1, 2026.
So move.
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right.
And the next one, we actually received the lease this morning. So the document itself is in your folder, but we haven't read it thoroughly. I can just give you the thumbnail, and then y'all can potentially, you can pass a motion authorizing staff to negotiate the final details of the lease based upon the input I provide with you right now and any input you guys provide me.
Okay.
But it's basically a 6-year lease, $3,000 a month with this CPI escalator. There are shared responsibilities. Obviously, we deal with the interior of the building. I think we have some exterior responsibilities, but not much. You know, the kind of the insignificant stuff. We are required to carry $1.5 million worth of liability coverage, so that's part of the quote we'll be getting tomorrow. But this is property located at 1800 Paris Avenue, which is the building next door to the police department with the large parking lot in the rear, with frontage on Paris Avenue that will allow us to accommodate any sort of signage requests that we will see, directing traffic, potentially creating an opportunity for a visitor center or other potential tenants.
Yeah.
So,
You hearing that, Charlie?
Yeah.
Right there as you come down Paris Avenue, that building right there. Okay, that's a prime spot as you come into the town.
It's the first building you see when you pull in?
Who's the manager on this one? Who's
us
gonna be
two.
managing? Who's gonna be managing the building for us?
us.
The three of them.
So for anything that's going on, like, that's their responsibility, who is they?
I'm going to be like Schneider from One Day at a Time or whatever the show was.
Is that what you're gonna do for us?
No, we will work, we will obviously, there's no management company involved in this one.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, so this is one.
So,
Thank you.
and just-
It came up on us real quick. We'll have to
Yeah.
work through those details, but right now, you're looking at it.
I like it if there's no.
No, we thought it was really interesting. Like I said, this opportunity came up. It kind of checked a lot of boxes for us, for the town. We spoke at our retreat on February 20th. One of the things we talked about was finding a more permanent location for the museum and the visitor center. Again, this building is right in the front. We can put a sign on it as soon as you pull into the town that says Visitor Center, Welcome to Port Royal Museum. Also, too, there's space in the back for more staff. We've talked about how we have some staffing space shortages here at Town Hall. So we looked at potentially we could put, we'll leave that to staff, but there is availability in the back for staff, so we can expand town operations, provide a space for the museum, space for the visitor center. It also has a huge parking lot in the back. I think it'll fit 30 or something cars in the back. Parking's always an issue. We talked about when we have events, parking. This kind of checked a bunch of boxes for us, and it came to us, again, after we had our retreat. I think Van, the owner, came to it and said, hey, we've got a tenant leaving. Y'all want to check this out before we kind of put it out there? And so we kind of wanted to jump on that, because if we don't, someone else will. It will. It's a really great location with a lot of space and, again, a lot of parking. So it will not sit empty for long. So we wanted to kind of move on that.
And then Marcy left before you said.
I know. So, but yeah, I mean, so you said right now it's not signed, at least it's tell you guys to continue to negotiate or move forward.
You can authorize you can authorize staff to sign the lease based upon the input I provided this evening with the rent of $3,000 plus the CPI, 6-year term.
And the CPI escalator.
And with the liability insurance resolved.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, if someone wants to make that motion.
I make a motion,
Or you just say so moved. and we'll-
so moved.
Second.
The town manager, put it out there.
Any comments or suggestions? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Great choice.
Yes, like I
Yes.
said, it really checks a lot of boxes. It provides a lot of opportunity, a lot of, we can do a lot of stuff with it. And like I said, it's great, right there, first building you see when you pull in, so. It's kinda-
Signage would be great.
Yeah, it's really cool. Important dates.
Oh, yeah, Friday, March 13th, Friends of Fremont Oyster Roast at Live Oak Park from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Saturday, March 14th, Radiance Run 5K at Live Oak Park at 9 a.m. Thursday, March 19th, HPR Third Thursday at Live Oak Park from 5:30 to 7:30. Monday, March 23rd, Planning Commission meeting at 5 p.m. Saturday, March 28th, Junior Service League Scales and Tails Kids Fishing Tournament at Henry Robinson Boardwalk at Sands Beach at 10 a.m. Anything else? And anything else y'all want to add?
Yeah, I don't have any other dates. Anybody wants to get on there? No? Okay. All right. We've got public comment for non-agenda items, and I've got one from Mr. Charles Russo.
Oh, yeah.
Come on down.
Good evening, Charlie Russo, 1231 Ladies Island Drive. Not speaking on behalf, not authorized to speak on behalf of the Museum and Visitor Center, merely a docent, new docent, and ambassador. I had an observation today. We were now open Wednesdays, and I take the Wednesday shift. And my observation today, and I think last Wednesday, I'm not quite sure when the snow fence went up in front of the Cypress wetlands, but I'm seeing a lot of public. We're getting increased visitors, but not so much to visit the museum, but to question, hey, is the wetlands open? There's, an orange fence up. It doesn't appear to be open, minus all the people that are walking around in there. It gives the impression. So we do get a lot of people. And this week in particular, the cones went up on Paris Avenue, blocking off Harbor Village, I believe it's called. And I noticed quite a few folks parking in the, what's the name of the place next door? Helena Square?
Yep.
Parking in there, walking through the alleyways between Harbor Village and, either jumping over, squeezing under the fence into Cypress wetlands, but also stopping in, hey, is it open, is it open? And my only thought as I walked out just to check, Cypress wetlands has that beautiful wooden board with maps and stuff. It appears all that stuff has been taken off and there's no signage to alternate entrances into the Cypress wetlands, like the Richmond Avenue or 16th Street. I thought it would be an ideal opportunity to put some signage up there saying, hey, yes, Cypress is open, especially now with all the birds about to start nesting, but here's where to access the place safely.
Yeah.
And that was just my thought.
No? Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Very
Yes,
well.
sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you, buddy.
Thank you for your work with the museum, too. Okay. All right. No other comments, public comments this time. We'll go council comments. Start on my right.
Nothing. Good report today. That was awesome. Great work, staff. Keep whipping us into shape when we travel. It's, they after those receipts every time. Don't lose the receipt. It pays off at the end, so we appreciate that.
The only thing I have, Van, did you talk to Dean Moss in reference to the Spanish Moss Trail? The question that I had about the schools, the emblem going down?
I didn't have
We
an
talked
opportunity.
about
We were
that.
focused on trying to get the other end of it done. No, I thought that y'all were talking to him about that. Okay.
I can.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And so just so everybody's aware, we got all 5 schools in the town of Port Royal to adopt a portion of the Spanish Moss Trail coming down as it first opens. And one of the schools asked if they could put in the center of theirs, just their buccaneers, bridges, whatever. I thought it was a great idea, or some of the others. And kind of brought another thing to me that as the Spanish Moss Trail starts in Port Royal, I think Port Royal should have our emblem out there, signified that that's Port Royal, because we do own it.
That'd be cool.
So I'll check with Dean, because the schools are excited. We want to know when the opening is. They want to participate. And like I said, all 5 schools have agreed, trying to get their ideas together, what they're going to do. I did talk to the Boy Scouts in reference to putting a box up. Catherine and I went to all 5 schools, met with everybody. This is Catherine's idea, Guerrero. I think it was a wonderful idea. She asked me to join her, and I have, and we're kind of run with it. And we're very proud of what we've done so far, and we'd like to see eventually businesses and all adopt a portion of the trail as we go down. Police department, fire department. Kind of good ideas there. But, you know, it's just something that recognizes the people in our town and that we're proud of the Spanish Moss Trail coming through here. And, you know, the schools, we've got a box that'll be coming, and each school will have two folders in it. One folder will be for arts, like some of the kids, they do artwork. So each school will have a book that they can put art in, pictures, so people can look, stop and look. The other one, if they wanted to do poetry, they can do some poetry in there. But every school will have two, so they can do that along the trail. And we did talk about possibly getting some benches, maybe get people to donate benches going along the trail, just something different, you know. So it was an idea. We'll talk to Dean, see where we can go with it. But I think we're on the move.
Getting the kids involved is really cool.
It's awesome. They're excited.
I'm sure that's awesome. That's great. So, Councilman Owens.
First of all, I want to thank staff for the outstanding job that they are doing. And we don't take that lightly. We do appreciate you. We want to thank all staff, that includes the fire department, police department, public works. You know, I'm hearing great things from the community about staff in general. So again, thank you all for what you do in support of the town. Also, thank you from a resident on 11th Street that wishes to express his thank you for a resolution of a concern that they endured in regards to public works, waste and so forth. That has been resolved, and that individual met me as I was walking today and said, I want to thank you all for resolving that matter. So thank you.
Good.
So thank you.
It's good to hear. Councilman Ashmore.
Yeah, I'm just going to be kind of all over the place. First, I think Charities was a good event this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did get some noise complaint, but I do know that they stayed and they honored our noise ordinance. They shut it down at the proper time like they were supposed to. It was loud, but it was a lot of fun. I was down there Friday night. I think a lot of us were down
We all
there.
made it. Yeah,
All
everybody.
over there.
Yes.
And I think Charities does an excellent job in really helping out in our community. Great meeting tonight. Love the World Doula Week and the disabilities awareness and Mr. Williams, his presentation. What a great honor to have Landon here in the action he was called into with what was it, the structure fire there at Barge Point. That was pretty awesome. And then Ross to give us just a tutorial on pass, pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. I'd never heard that. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. I think we're in a very strong financial position, so that's good. Thank you again to staff. Great presentation by the Row Club. We'll see where that goes. I would be remiss if I didn't say this. I'll draw your attention to our seal here. And we celebrate Port Royal and honor its journey from its incorporation on March the 9th of 1874 to the thriving community that we see today. Happy birthday to Port Royal, 152 years. That's all I have.
That's great. Thank you, sir. That was great.
Van, were you here when we first incorporated?
That's him up there.
That's him right there, in the loincloth. You have the loincloth up there?
Those ads, yeah. So, all right. Well, just all for me, I just want to say, let's just make sure we all keep our servicemen and women in our prayers. I want to say thank you to my fellow council members up here again. It was great to see everybody at Charities, and just thank you all for serving up here with me. It's a real honor, and just thank you to all the members of our community for being so great. That's it for me. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those
Thank
in
you.
favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank
Aye,
y'all.
Port Royal.